Yes, yeah. It's quite interesting with the Akosuni minister response in the way Neoma City Echo. There was nowhere any single person in this world will come out and come and say, men are him A and I'm him B, especially when he believes the Okaine, the Oye, and Susa. From the minister's part, I think even if it happened, he will not come out and come and say, what am I say? But it really hurts per how our job is, any the way our Neoma City no. You always have to find yourself in difficult situations where the pakoni nimsadi we. But for respect and integrity, you have to wash your hands of certain things. My tembi ana me ka asem bi say yaw say o sore na aka so o ma metias bi e ka say o ma metias bi ko fi ma metias wo fie o nkwa ade che obi ama me sore e be hu de o ma metias de o ma metias. So in a nutshell, Ghana is one particular place. Everything you do will go and come back. One day, we'll know whatever that happened behind the scenes. If it's true, we'll know. If it's not true, we'll know. And once some of the players are taken out of the team, we'll know. Say the entire year be a free my free be maybe Elizabeth Adu rain fino. Okoye on my black queens be. We know how some of these things work. Bemum, ke onu aba bi na nke hie ska. Anafia ye din na nke wo so di ska hwefie. Ani emfa ne sika mfa ma na. Ke me se nka wo betimi atena se apushi se nkomo bi wo amfa nto nchen ba bi ne discuss ko e be fa so e betue ska no. No mo se timi aka. So I think what is important is about the ladies getting their money. By time is always going to vindicate who was right and who was wrong. Enti ye bi nya abotre pass wo kruma se ne e dia twen. You see, the club nations FC and their decision making and what they want to achieve in the Ghana Premier League. It would be more questions be bisa. Quite more fast. So I now say their presence in the Premier League. One particular thing. The last time I was a club, the years I know Adriana Stars on by no league. Yeah, the two occasions at Nations League now are threatened, including last season. I had to take match day 32. Omoko baseke Holy Stars game now say match day 33 in the kofa and say be brain na dey at the buy. Kenya san kaminu mi enu take edin komo sen Nations FC League champions. Yaw. Ye season ni ye. Nations FC aton Abdul Karim de ama to folk. Share the number of players and Nations FC ejo omoko amomoko. Let's check the replacements abem. Yaw. The Noble Bisa will say, what to make it be a spine of this team. But in the long run, you were not able to maintain the kind of quality now. At least maybe what team the man say I will just be a kwamo moko. It's one abakos is some of maba. Now where United more attackers need players here come baby because it's someone in my bay. Now, how are they going to bring the best out of players with a face such out telling all of these things? This is not mean this is in my Abrankesi almost bare 3 or 4 times. Now the reason why these players always say what they say here say team now the new players be about shishim. I was say take it time and send the team jele. On their part, yes. But on another side, I think the whole decision making aspect of Nations FC were crumbling down. Especially after say even the CEO Divine Okra resigned if you do manage to be. The whole technical structure of Nations FC would need to be looked at. And the Munyam pay for it dorsum. And the Munyam pay for it dorsum. The whole setup in terms of the organizational structure of Nations FC would need to be looked at. Omunyabo trainer, Omwa say analyze how did we drop from this level to this level? Is it because of players alone? No. A coaching in Kwa. Some way, somehow. No. Baya was from so can be ana. Yes. Yow. Obia Kase Kasimingo Nanko Beji League their mom. And nobody is criticizing the sacking of Kasimingo. Because the job you are doing in this country, yow, a resource oriented. If you're a head coach and you are not getting results, you'll be sad. Yow. come fast so say 2 be a better tea and son of winning game by 3 goals to 2 no it raises a lot of questions. There have been certain decisions on the field of play in terms of player selection. I've questioned Kasim Mengo say now decision being he deserves to be sacked. But the whole situation is surrounding the club no abedrum pempen so eti say amenei omo chiro omo no the structure of the club in terms of the leadership part. It is a form tete next road that you can decide to change the attire, but the same man what is now kofi yaw and one abe from kofi tebia wasesa atade ye ofe when you ade wo sere asesa atade be mom no I was on motivity on wase no know how to find a way to solve this situation as soon as possible. Anya sa ebe ha wo pa but for Frimpong Manso you have an excess coach who has won the league coming in. Or also one particular coach ade am hu nim so ochini interference. So if Nessis entimi anyo mo nyoma ye Frimpong Manso be ye adwuma yi ade be che Frimpong Manso ye sei ade be che Frimpong Manso fa ha ade be che Frimpong Manso ko ha ye ka hwe Frimpong Manso ntie san komo ne mpe biate because you know the kind of coach you are appointing, the level he is, and you brought him to give you results. Initially, I even thought they were going to pick an experienced Manso Okonodu. But from Komona, I had to change them. Manso Okonodu so totally different. Komona and said NCP. But for Frimpong Manso, we can only wish him good luck. That this is one job I'll tell him is very, very difficult, especially with how our influence is here. Juma, Komobe Koso actually, Nemo be BCC. But don't function the team said Juma no. Or integrity be to protect, especially you can't win the league with maybe any goal stars, and at the end of the day, Yakobo Cup Champions League first game, your boy, I'm one second leg, Crania be UFO. And a lot of people were saying a lot of things behind the scenes. And I never from Manso in G League, you know, and the so there's a point to also prove for himself. Say, and you want G League now, so and they needed a coach that could bring the best out of these young boys. I think some more young boys will team they are performing well. And to commend a player like Emmanuel Ano for the fantastic season he's having with Nations FC. Despite the troubles, no Wakobo hat-trick, no 2 goals, no 1 goal. He's always the one bailing them out. He was the one that bailed them out. All of these factors will have a role to play. Anyhow, it will reflect on their results. Early days yet, 7 games into the Ghana Premier League. Liga etimi bodu league 30 match the 30 and some one nipa abeji league there yenya abotre ye ntwen so ne hwe the way anoma be city akọ but if you are in a crying in this environment monko support him man let them qualify well and I think anymunyam ne be Ghana for.
Okay, oh Steve Bray,
Nations FC are taking a very bold decision and they are behaving and acting like a club with enormous ambition, and the person said they just don't want to settle as a middle table club and as it will be a baby. And you wouldn't blame them. Why? Because a club has all the resources to perform, and I feel they would want to take a cue from the first season in the league, or my build almost into a team now. Ghana Premier League sides are almost stronger. There's no way over mentioned without Diana. Before you have Ash Gold, Olympus, other clubs, Dwarfs, Baba and San, or down to these clubs. But the resources are there. My issue has always been said, Coach, Nations FC FA, no. What is the caliber of the coach? The strength, he is a developer. So how Abeche United are highly consistent over the years, losing players in and out, and yet they stay competitive. Every season they produce 1 or 2 players. You end up talking about them. Say these are players of movie on a. So the coach Omofane, he is not noted for winning laurels. But he is a manager. He can polish certain players. So if the desire was to get a coach to win you a league or win laurels per se, I feel based on the track record of Kasim Menga, he wasn't the right person. But if you are looking for a coach to polish players for the marketer, he's best suited. I was Edgewan. Now for a club as many as 20 players, quite. None new ones are bem. Many of my agents say out of 21 points now for 80 there, I am below average. And yet, so losing 13 points this season, whichever way you look at it, I poor. The coaches have to be up and doing. But the ambition of nations nature said they would not want to be part of the league. They would want to win. Because once the summer test are GB, Mediama Age League, and then Go Stars in Swabe GB. Last season they were very close on budget. But Go Stars Chess almost won you maybe almost in league, the Boamo, Amoji League. Now at this point you need patience and you build on your mind. But we can analyze from the sporting perspective based on on the field of play. But not what happens behind the scenes, we are not privy to.
Sure.
So whatever decisions management take, because of our behind the scenes, whatever we discuss, the things we can speak to because our in the public domain.
Yeah.
So based on the coach in the track record there, for starters, he wasn't the right manager. It's a league now, but if the ambition of nations here say, okay, you try to say a best sustaining club, not buy, transferring players, sika from a unit there. He was the right manager. And nations where your players be quiet,
Yeah.
So if there is the business aspect of football, no more share there, Kasim Mengel and then Johnson Smith are the coaches for them. But so open league there. If that's the decision, so more arriving at a league in Kwani party there. Then they are spot on with the decision. But you can't sack 20 players or 20 players leaving the club. Now different ones not instantly open results. Ghana League, you determine after 8 games. But also team a massive point to be If you started very well. Nations now so started very well. But last season, where did they end? Top 4 Roman Bobby.
Sure.
Into the fact that will be started very well and you can't catch up. This is the Ghana Premier League. Some of the matches, teams are in but nations in your club, I say the pressure from the fans in Inti, they would have to press a button to change this. Only issues with anything. Nations they say Dreams FC. Nations they say any other club our league in them. And to say Kotoko has a Diana or
pressure
other clubs are pressure from the supporters. They
maybe
can
they
operate
want
at their
the
own
cup.
pace.
Say, almost person said the work canon. Oma average club do baby MZMBA. They are going for the ultimate.
Third season of mobile league.
Yeah.
Ocean is the as the almost penny premature.
Okay.
But I can say the business of Ghana League, even trophies here, which are rewarding. Ghana League, which yes, I another cabo and the Mawankasa. Meaning so more the Sikapudu or meeting all that. The ambition is to win the league.
Okay.
But say a league in Nigeria, I support 100% decision on taking. But say a decision that is geared toward Omoji League in India, I would say is the wrong decision. BG2, 8 points after 7 games. I am poor.
Okay. Steve Omeda say new yes Oma Kanina over Mayanga Kakana which remember Manso to nations
small points and let me see no pie now small is so right so right except say me no my dream is say nations have done a lot irrespective of the fact say Go Stars by and chair Samatas by and chair Omunina about league nibi and so now to Tony my year 1-2-1-2 also with me about the league so but I feel say and found say nations in young finance and can Ghana Premier League title no adie bia na ye adi ye hu pie e die ho adi no nations are in ye pa
okay
civil say they've sold some few players play be has kotokobe kono so mo person to be no so to me kasa yeso yaba. They've provided players to the national team from the youth 17, 18. Nations players for national team.
Yeah.
Blaster crown on players as well.
Sure.
And the also young cast mobile and chair and no more players called Blaster. Blaster is the highest level of our football. So what we have provided players called Blaster, they imagine themselves trophy Muromoso.
Omadu.
Trophy and Muromoso. And I don't put the blame largely on the coach. Kasim Mengo. He's a good coach. I look at coaching from a very large perspective, beyond just trophy. I'm on for the trophy, so I'm coaching now travelers boss one trophy. We're job by a president, say we're so about coaching him, we don't know, but right now we're job. But coaching goes way beyond just the trophy. And couple, if you push me to the wall, Kasim Mengo and a coach from Manso, difference in your momentum. From Manso coach on bro Kasim Mengo so.
Sana huno.
Bruno so obia impact different.
Sa.
What do you say? If oka two coaches in Nkwan dia, coach from Manso on bro Kasim Mengo so. Yes,
Waji na huno sa.
Waji league. True. But maybe dear,
I could winning mentality chamber.
Sense na me say, I look at coaching beyond trophy no.
Okay.
Winning mentality say.
Yeah, trophy.
I tell them say trophy ya winning no. Trophy is
for fans and the club.
Trophy is
success no based on winning something for them.
For which people?
For the fans and the club.
Can you say Kasim wasn't successful at Bichim?
Or is successful to extend that MBO is a woman targets need your more pen MBO to me the ma.
He achieved he established the club. He made them as part of the regular every year be no more
consistency.
No. Every year be more any job so say be who next year no. Yeah, discuss relegation for Bichim and form count. Who did that job?
Kasim.
And your trophy in your success ana.
Oh yes.
Oh man. A boy Africa final against House of Folk. Our had some body G, you know.
Yeah.
On one as our normal call, Kasim Mengo Yajuma. One Olympics promotion be Kasim Mengo. No, come home. Okay, team no.
Okay.
Me, in my opinion, from poor Manso coach on bro Kasim Mengo. So despite so I jet Ghana Premier League be impartation in terms of coach, you know. Kasim so one idea.
Okay.
And if Obi defining the tenure of Kasim Mengo nations as failure. Me just have failure no be akwa administration Kennedy Boachi and some obaji failure no be failure ni nyina
ntimi nya coach no
no way
no be on a part no so play
Divine CEO one of the youngest CEOs were league no obabone din on Ima champion by Ima on also a young CEO pa the Divine kwase adumo young guys no Divine so share blame no be Kennedy Boachi and share bi how can you na success by IM for administration bears majority part of the failure. It is me funny in coach no.
Okay.
It is from Manso adwuma there or but all the trophy is in impartation any other aspect of the game there. Kasim Mengo so pa. And to call him
a good appointment. Who is a
say coach you know appointment no. Yeah, nyem prem you can say good and not in your good. Nyem prem coach you know because a job of performance. It's a year the old chrono. And you can say, Wajuma baby, but see any day we can say, oh, squad way who dear, obet me to maintain it for or pushika cry, obet me. You know why Ghost has appointed coach from Manso? Because not the Bofako 8 games considered 2 goals. Had a very consistent 11. Every time Kevin upon and then NS Anchor 4 and 5 for me in the Obina Bright Train or bonnet in the right back. Oban Fifi on my baby to Elijah there, and Ernest Nwankurina. Omienu, Ernest Nwankurina, one of the best number 8. But Pra and my boy number 1 to me and Tinsiquamu, or Consuatreka, or comedy. In the final, he also had Sakadauda. And a ghost ask us, no, a Juma, why ye?
Yeah, her so near the
Afawaha. And after an exit from Ghost Stars, you can still say, well, yes, successful Ghost Stars. But you know, pointed for Ghost Stars, the Juman why you're buffo and our wish. Yeah, and you Ghost Stars. It is here, you know.
Yeah, Ghost Stars, so they are
a fan nations. Yeah, it is what successful nations, and now one year, just all 3 nations. And Sunny to me, I can say, Coach, squad ya, Kasim Mengo Jama Uni, the Juma Odia, and why are they, and I say, one yard, but see, dear. Juma yo go stars no. And a squad or one or the bar analyze that oh he can stay in the top 4. But
So those stars where Juma come up.
Yeah, Juma.
Yeah.
Oh, Juma club on G League.
Yeah.
No, Juma.
Well, the nations
we hope
said
so.
we
hope so. But know the difference. Yeah.
Difference anymore. Coach Kasim Mengo ne Mayanga difference. Okay. Me da se new no